Hey, and welcome back. It's a Thirsty Thursday, and it's hour 2 of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. We're having a wonderful day here in New York City. We're downtown at the Question Tequila Studios. Scott Labradoodle was here, Manny Alejandro, Robin Byro, and we mixed it up, we shook it up, and we'll continue to kick butt right through hour 2. And joining me here in the kickoff of hour 2 in the leadoff spot, Frank Morano joins me again. Hi, Frankie.
Pleasure to be here, John, on this Thirsty Thursday edition of the Liquid Lunch program. Quite a bit going on in the news, John. For starters, apparently the creator of the Labradoodle, I don't know if you've seen this, but the creator of the Labradoodle, you know these cute little dogs that are all over the place? They're very big with the, gentrifying neighborhoods.
Yeah.
The creator of the Labradoodle is going on record calling it his worst creation ever, and he really regrets it. He was trying to do something nice for someone that needed a guide dog but was allergic, and he believes, Conran is his name, that every one of these Labradoodles is just crazy.
Yep.
And so he apparently...
This is a mix between a Labrador and a poodle, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Labradoodle.
And it's a fan favorite. People love them.
They are cute.
But not the creator.
A lot of people are getting these Labradoodles.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's saying it's the worst thing ever?
The worst thing that he ever did.
Wow.
He apparently really, really regrets it. You're not much of a dog person, are you?
Well, you know what? I respect dogs. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love the dogs playing cards, those guys, and I respect how much they do for humanity, the emotional support dogs, the seeing eye dogs.
Bomb-sniffing
security,
dogs.
They serve, dogs are like part of humanity. But I really have like a Howie Mandel issue with like wet dog noses touching my hands. And when they come near me, I know the first thing I have to do is show my palms up and pet them under the chin there to make them think I'm friendly, but I don't want their nose going near me, so I try to retreat
all right, fair enough.
As soon as possible.
I get it. Now, the Director of National Intelligence, from what we understand, the acting Director of National
Only
Intelligence...
on Liquid Lunch can you go from wet dog noses and Labradoodles to the Director of National Intelligence.
I'd be curious if people agree with Mr. Conran, the person that bred and created the Labradoodle. He calls it a Frankenstein monster. He says every one of these is crazy. Let us know if you agree. You could find us on Twitter at Liquid Lunch TV.
Carla Marino
Liquid
from
Lunch
the New York Bully Crew is probably going to be calling in screaming.
Yeah, well, is she pro Labradoodle?
No, I mean she's just pro dog.
Well, no, but so is this doctor. So is Mr. Conran.
Dogs is mean.
No, well, Mr. Conran is... He says... This is what he said. He said, I opened a Pandora's box. But since Christy Brinkley has one, and Jennifer Aniston, and Tiger Woods, now everybody wants one. He says, I opened a Pandora's box and released a Frankenstein monster, according to
I think my friend Joe Margo has a Labradoodle. Bobby the Doodle or something like that.
Right.
Like, people are actually making Facebook and Instagram pages for their doodles.
I know. Oh, there's 30,000. Fans at the Labradoodle fan page.
It's crazy.
All right.
I mean, hey, everybody loves a good Labradoodle.
All right. So one of the highlights of the Director of National Intelligence, Joseph Maguire's testimony so far, is his rejection of any suggestions that the intelligence community leaked information about the big whistleblower report. So in this House hearing just a little while ago, Maguire said there were about a dozen people listening to President Trump's July phone call with the Ukrainian president, and he referred to them as members of Trump's National Security Council and others at the White House. Maguire noted that some people at the State Department were also briefed on the call. So there were dozens of people listening in. At least one of those dozens purportedly complained to this whistleblower.
So it was an airing of grievance whistleblower.
Yeah. John, have you ever seen this?
Of course.
All right, what is that?
That means A-OK.
That's right. Well...
You're A-OK.
That's right.
You. That's right, you. A-OK.
Well, not us if we're trying to reach Dr. Gans, former Pentagon speechwriter. But the American Defamation League is adding this as a hate symbol. So be careful when you use the OK sign because it's now considered.
Well, what does it mean in the whole PC universe?
Yeah.
What does this supposedly mean now? Is that like a gang sign?
The Anti-Defamation League says some white nationalists began using the hand gesture this year as a sincere expression of white supremacy. The ADL added a total of 36 new symbols today used by extremists.
But tell me why. You're the newsman.
I have no idea.
I'm not understanding it, but I'm saying, what does this mean? Like what? Like, is there like significance in the three fingers?
I don't know.
But
they say it's the white nationalist groups say that's a hate symbol, so I guess it is. I'll tell you this: I'm not going to allow the white nationalists to determine what symbols we use and don't use. So I'm taking it back. I'm going to use the AOK sign all the time. I'm not letting you guys take it back. Take it over.
Frankie, we have so many loyal viewers that are always watching the show.
Yeah, and those are just the ones outside.
Yeah, and those
hey,
are
it's Lenny.
Hey.
Shockingly, he's chasing after a pretty blonde woman.
We're on Broadway, and people flying by, cars, cops, everything you can imagine. And we're right in the heart of the biggest city in the world. And, you know, our good friend Joey Coffey is watching today. And she was very impressed with the new studios. And she said it reminded her of the good old days between us.
With nothing working at Uber TV,
and
yes.
Not everything working perfectly.
Exactly.
But, working, however we were working. But Frankie, why is the DNI continuing to be, like, what do they want? They know they're not going to get anything out of this guy. Why does the Congress keep putting on these kabuki theaters for?
Well, I think it's to put a black mark on the Trump presidency. I mean, clearly they're moving towards impeachment, and they're hoping that something they get. I mean, it's all a dog and pony show, or Labradoodle.
Hey! No, you're right. Let's toast to that one. That was good. See, that's why we're partners.
That's right. We're synergistic.
We think on the same plane.
Now,
and,
but it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. My prediction is that it goes nowhere. The sad situation is, John, after seeing what happened with Congressman Joe Crowley being defeated by this bartender with no money who no one had ever heard of, all of the prominent Democratic members of Congress, all the members of the establishment, are all terrified that this might happen to them. So you have Gerald Nadler, who's the chair of the House Judiciary Committee. You have Elliot Engel, who's chair of a high-ranking committee. Hakeem Jeffries, one of the most powerful Democrats in the House. Carolyn Maloney, one of the most powerful Democrats in the House. Those four Democrats all have something in common.
Scared to death.
They're all being primaried by AOC's group, the Justice Democrats. So
scared to death.
Because AOC and the other members of the squad have been pushing this narrative of impeachment. Now they're going to out-crazy the crazies.
Yeah. And this is what's, we were going to talk about it earlier and mix it up, but Elizabeth Warren is surging in the polls now. The deep state may very well be exposing Joe Biden's corruption when he was the vice president of the U.S., and that very well could be at the behest of Elizabeth Warren, and she's surging at the same time, coming from, she's fighting as hard as possible to get left of Bernie and get in the squad's pocket. Like, she's coming out with tons of policies, but most of them are, these progressive social program policies and break up big banks and tax.
Well, I'm all for breaking up the big banks. Yeah, break them up into itty-bitty pieces.
Breaking up is so hard to do, as the Captain Neil once said.
But it's funny. I love her plan for economic patriotism. I'm not so crazy about her plan for a wealth tax. I don't like her plan to abolish private health insurance. But she strikes a lot of the same populist tones that Donald Trump did in 2016. I was watching another network last night, and the anchor, who's sort of a populist Trump supporter, said, if you're going to impeach Trump for anything, impeach him for not doing anything about the carried interest loophole. The reality is you have all these CEOs that are paying less as a percentage in taxes than their secretaries. Now, Trump campaigned on that, but he hasn't done anything since being president to do away with the carried interest loophole. If Elizabeth Warren can make that an issue, she'll win over those Obama-Trump Democrats and independents.
It's possible, but I don't think, we were talking about before about those Democrats that voted for Trump. I think the more the party lurches to the left, those moderate Dems who voted for Trump, they're going to lurch more towards, hey, I'd rather be with Trump than these.
I don't even know what those paradigms mean anymore. Left, right. You know, I think people want to know, is the establishment benefiting or am I benefiting? And when they see big banks and politicians and the military-industrial complex getting rich and the income inequality gap growing, that populist message, whether it's right-wing or left-wing, it becomes more and more appealing. That's why I think in some respects the best candidate for Trump to run against, even though this is against the conventional wisdom, is Joe Biden, because it's the Hillary playbook all over again.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but I think the Dems realize that, and that's why they're running an operation on him now to get him knocked out and exposing all this Hunter stuff. So stay tuned. Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are limping into the primaries, and Elizabeth Warren seems to be surging. So we'll talk to you about all that and more coming up right after this on Liquid Lunch.